They were all converted to Christianity.
Oh, those people?
Yes, 98%.
Wow.
The children of these people are saying to the elders, they're saying, we must leave the islands and have a place where we can live where it's not going to flood. Because the islands are going to last 50 more years maybe. They're already flooding in certain areas for maybe other reasons. But the water level is going up, maybe 5 feet. They new data, maybe 5 feet, not 3, but 5 feet in this century. They're trying to get the older people to leave. There's a special place in Australia where Australia has given them a place to colonize as a group, to stay together. The old people say no. The Bible says that God will never have another flood again to kill all the people except for Noah. So they will not leave. So there is a true conflict between the scientific data saying the island is going to go and the biblical statement, if you take it literally, that they say, no, God won't do this to us. It's a real conflict. And it's an incredible conflict right now of looking at the two ways of thinking. And that is the kind of thing I'm worried about when you override the science with the theology. But just translate.
了解吧。
You understand?
他就是说，这个在澳大利亚州的边缘上有一些小岛上的原住民，那因为现在海水的海面渐渐升高，所以他们居住的区域受到威胁，常常有这个水灾的情形。那根据这个气候变迁的一些预测呢，将来在50年内，海水可能不止升高3英尺，很可能是5英尺，大概是2公尺左右。所以，澳洲政府呢，在他们本岛这个澳洲本地上头辟出一块园区来，就专门给这些原住民住。那年轻的一代说好，我们就搬去那里。但是呢，那个老一辈的呢，却说不要，因为他们大多数都相信了基督，所以他们认为说，上帝说不会再用洪水来淹没世界，所以这个 Professor Frank 他的观点是，这边就有一个宗教和科学的一个冲突点，那到底要怎么解决这个问题？这是一个对于有信仰的人来讲，也是一个挑战。对于这个以科学为主的这个科学家们，或者是提出这个软化论的人来讲，也是一个挑战。怎么样能够把这个事情沟通得清楚？
So how did you end that? That it was a question? That this,
Yeah.
I'm not saying what's right and wrong necessarily. I mean, I think I know what's right. But the point is that I'm bringing this up because I've seen the same problem in Africa. I've seen the same problem in Turkey. I've seen the same problem in Israel. All these places where people are locked into certain ideas and they won't change. And the science is saying one thing and the theology is something else. And in this case with the islands, it's so clear. The others are more difficult to interpret. But the island is either going to be there or not. And the Bible says this or not. And science says this or not. So that's the question of how do we look at the new world of the 21st century? And how do we modify to fit in with good science and the religious people understanding what science does and its limitations, because science has limitations. We're not trying to prove the world of everything.
Right.
We're just trying to prove things, whatever they are, whatever we ask. And if we don't know, we're happy. We want to have things we don't know. Religion wants to know everything. This is it. With science, we say, we don't know. And so that's the difference. If we can understand that difference and where we're coming from, and we put on these people the whole complete idea, so they understand from the beginning where different people are coming from. They truly understand. Then they make up their own mind maybe. But we're just giving them the facts, the ideas, the philosophy. They should know some of that, I think, because that's the struggle in the modern world.
Yes, I think I will try to extrapolate a little bit because yes, it's kind of believed. They believe that because God promised there will be no more flooding. And
Well, God in the Bible, and who, you see, I would say, well, a man wrote the Bible.
Right.
So I mean, we have that step.
Some people took it literally and say,
Right.
yes, it is safe. But again, this is just another example that a lot of believers also thinking that we sometimes interpret the Bible just with limited verses. You just look at one part and say, that's it.
Right.
That is concrete and stone.
Right.
There will be no change. That may be true if you just read that one part.
And that's why I brought up about Thomas Jefferson. We think of him as a great hero, but he also chopped up the Bible and wrote another Bible. He had slaves, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And so it's more complex than just that
Right.
one set of
So,
ideas.
so sometimes, a lot of time, I should say, in our church, our pastors or priests taught us that you have to look the bigger pictures in the Bible, not just one passage.
Good.
Maybe a couple chapters, then you made a conclusion.
Right.
That is not right because you may totally miss the whole point that the Bible wants you to know.
Right. And that is the difference between people who take the Bible totally literally,
Right.
which Catholics do not.
Catholic has much open.
But there are certain places that they still won't wiggle.
I
Okay,
believe so.
that's why we have no women priests, etc. Maybe. I don't know if that's in the Bible or not, but I don't think it is actually. But we must always be questioning these things as we go along.
Right.
The world is not flat.
Right.
The Earth is not the center of the solar system, etc., etc.
Right.
And so this is the conflict I have. I was very religious until I was 25. I struggled with religion a lot. I learned all the religions. I went to religious schools. I, talked with priests and everything. So I've struggled with the problem a lot. It's been very hard for me.
So yes, 刚刚 Professor Frank 他提出来的问题就是说，宗教的这个太过拘泥于这个表面的字义，而忽略了说这个科学所提供的证据，这是不是一件正确的事情？那对于这个有福传心理的这些信徒们，当我们去接近一些人的时候，不管是原住民也好，或者是一些其他人群，我们应该要用什么态度去把这个事实和信仰能够做一个恰当的这个表达？那这是一个很大的挑战。那我刚刚的解释就是说，事实上在宗教界里面有很多的情形下，牧师和神父还有传道人、宣教师也都这样教导我们说，我们不应该只是看圣经中的一部分的讲说而就下定结论，而是应该了解整个圣经的整体观点，然后才能够下定这样的结论。我自己的观点就是，像这个岛屿上的人，他不愿意迁徙的话，原因就是他就是抓住了那一句话，而没有看出整体圣经上对于人类的整个罪性的警告。所以刚刚Professor Frank 也说，他一直到25岁之前，他都是有宗教信仰，但是他个人有很大的这个挣扎，他在这个对宗教上面的一些很固执拘泥的这个思维上头，他觉得很难接受。那他渐渐就采取一种科学的这个心理，他并不是那么的完全的反对宗教，而只是他是说反对我们 如果只是用一种宣教的态度去做事情的话，往往是有害于把事实的真相真正表达出来。所以他认为存有一个科学的观念，但是你有信仰是可以的，但是你不要是只是带着信仰去强加在某些人群身上，而去忽略的那个科学的事实。